Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Well, this morning's update, there is really not much going on today. It seems like the media has taken off on the Jeffrey Epstein front for the weekend. So, there's an article from PJ Media, and I don't want to hear anything from anybody on the left. I read all sorts of crazy leftist websites as well. Daily Beast, etc., etc. But this one is a pretty funny article, so I figured I'd share it with you guys. It's by Victoria Taft, and it's about Hillary Clinton's Christmas message. And the headline is, "You're not the only one who saw Hillary's Christmas message and thought of Jeffrey Epstein." So, a little bit of levity this morning, yeah? A little humor, because we all know that this case is depressing enough. So every now and then we have to inject something like this, a nice easy read that makes things, I don't know, a little bit humorous, I guess, because we all know that if anyone is tone deaf, it is Hillary Clinton. She has no idea about what the people of America or the people of the world are thinking. She's not one of us. She never has been one of us. She never will be one of us. She's one of the elite. She's always run in those circles, and that's just the kind of person she is. And whatever your thoughts are on Donald Trump, this country is better off in the long run without having the Hillary Clinton as president, okay? That's right. I said it. On record, Hillary Clinton would have been the biggest disaster this country has seen at the very least since Carter. Okay? She was everything that the Clintons touch turns into a criminal enterprise pretty much. So we have just oodles of evidence of the impropriety of the Clintons. We have Lefkowitz going on record saying that Epstein donated $4 million to get the Clinton Foundation off the ground. We know that Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Jeffrey Epstein were very close. Hell, he had a picture of Bill in a goddamn dress just like Hillary on his wall. All right? He was on the plane 26 times at least. Virginia Roberts saw him at the island. Jared Kellogg saw him at the ranch. He denies all of this. Again, it's the same situation. It parallels Prince Andrew. And why there isn't more scrutiny on Bill Clinton, I will never know. Why people continue to protect this man, I will never know. And it's funny because it's the same people that yell and scream about, "Oh my God, how could you support Trump? Oh my God." These are the same people that don't want to hear anything about Bill Clinton. They don't want to hear anything about the Clintons and Epstein. And that is why the media does not talk about Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein ad nauseum on TV. They don't want, here's what they're so mentally deranged at this point over Trump that even Jeffrey Epstein's ties to Bill Clinton will be covered up if that means they can hurt Trump in the long run. And that's all they care about. So I have to tell you, as much as I'm neutral about the whole presidential situation these days, I almost can't wait for Trump to be gone just so that these people on the left, these crazy journalist activists, have to actually do news then. What are they going to do when Trump is gone, folks? What are they going to cover? They've spent all these years covering Trump's corruption. They've spent all of these years cooking up all of these fake news stories. When in reality, if they would have just done their jobs and actually been journalists and dug deep, they would have found what they needed to, at the very least, get some swing votes to say, all right, look, maybe we're on board with this impeachment. Maybe Trump is crooked. But saying he's a Russian agent, saying he hired hookers to pee on a bed that Obama slept in, give me a break. Nobody believes that. The only people who were believing that or who believed that were people who wanted their confirmation bias stroked. Okay? And those are the facts, folks. Cold, hard facts for the morning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that's uncomfortable to people, but that's the way it is. Jeffrey Epstein is intrinsically connected to Bill Clinton, okay? And you can talk about his connections to Donald Trump. They're there. But there's not the connections that we see with Bill Clinton. Not in the least. All right, can you show me the paperwork, the paper trail, or anyone saying that Epstein donated millions of dollars to Donald Trump? Can you show me the paperwork where Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were going on vacations together? Can you show me the proof that you have? There is none. All right, there is no proof that was occurring. We have proof that prior to 2005, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein ran in the same circles. Fact. Jeffrey Epstein was a regular at Mar-a-Lago. Fact. Donald Trump flew on the plane one time. Documented. Fact. Donald Trump was issued a subpoena by Bradley Thomas. Fact. All those people were issued subpoenas. Everybody involved, right? Oh, excuse me, Bradley Edwards. And, the only person who responded to the subpoena willingly was Donald Trump. And he talked to Edwards, and Edwards is on record saying that he has zero doubt that Trump had nothing to do with it. So we have one of the lawyers for 12 of the girls saying that Trump had nothing to do with it. Okay? Where's anybody coming out and saying Bill Clinton had nothing to do with it? One of the lawyers for these girls. What you hear from these lawyers is that they want these people as witnesses, right? So, look, I'm not here to exonerate anybody. Everybody is still in my crosshairs from Trump on down. But the point of my little rant here is the media is doing nobody any good by protecting Bill Clinton. All right? Bill Clinton needs to be exposed, folks. We have Juanita Broderick. You want to talk about credibly accused? Bill Clinton has been credibly accused by a ton of women, and nothing has ever come of it because he's been protected by people like George Stephanopoulos and the media. And you don't think that umbrella reached over to Jeffrey Epstein as well? Of course it did. Of course it did. Because Epstein had Clinton wrapped around his finger so he could deploy Clinton to tell these media organizations, look, you guys got to chill. You can't run these stories on Jeff. That's my guy. And if you don't think that kind of thing happens, well, I don't know what to tell you. All right, so let's jump into this crazy, funny article here. Headline, you're not the only one who saw Hillary's Christmas message and thought of Jeffrey Epstein. Hillary Clinton needs more practice if she intended to troll people with her Christmas Eve message. And if this wasn't a troll, she needs to supply that Scooby van of hers with a big saline drip laced heavily with self-awareness because the joke's on her. Lord. And they're talking about a picture that Hillary tweeted. Well, NPR tweeted. It's Hillary's new van. It's like this black Scooby-looking van. The picture's in the link, so when you click on it, you'll be able to see it for yourself. The former Secretary of State and First Lady tweeted her Christmas message reading, "A Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Sure, a little 'twas the night before Christmas is natural. Makes sense. But she may as well have gone on to say, not a creature was stirring, not even Jeffrey Epstein. Look at the photo. First, that's a photo from more than 20 years ago when she was First Lady, and that's odd enough. Clinton has a couple of grandchildren now, millions of dollars, and a mansion. It would seem natural that she could stage a photo with her family for 2019 and tweet that to the world. She could buy fake snow, buy a new red pantsuit, and really do it up right. No. Hillary prefers to live in Christmases past at the White House because she believes that's how people want to perceive her, in a dress at the White House 20 plus years ago. Here's 2018's Christmas greeting throwback. Here's her throwback message from 2015 and their pictures. And the first one is Chelsea dancing with Bill Clinton in the White House with Hillary standing close by laughing. The next picture is Bill Clinton and Hillary from, of 2015, but it was really from God knows when. They were both very young. Hillary's in a red dress and Bill's in a tux. But the dresses from Christmases past in the White House aren't the oddest things about that photo. A Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And it's a picture of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. But the funny thing is, and the main reason I read this article, is you guys are not going to believe this. She's standing in the same blue dress, it looks like, that Bill Clinton was painted in on Jeffrey Epstein's wall. I mean, are you kidding me right now? Many people, me included, looked at that photo and thought, holy hell, that looks like the dress Bill Clinton is wearing in that ew-inspiring portrait the president of Pedophile Island, Jeffrey Epstein, put in his New York City apartment. Clunk. Wow. And if you look at the photo, folks, it is almost exactly the same picture of the dress that Bill Clinton was in the painting. And it's hilarious as hell. I wouldn't have read this if it wasn't for that dress thing. I mean, honestly, I know that people get offended by going after the Clintons. They're like the holy cow on the left. But I'm sorry. I'm not going to be quiet about the Clintons anymore. I've had enough of them. I've just had enough of Bill and Hillary Clinton. And it's time. It's time for them to be exposed, all right? So the next picture is the same one of them, her in the blue dress standing next to Bill. And then right below it, it shows the picture of Clinton, the portrait of Clinton in the dress. So, and then there's a bunch of tweets as well, like people doing the comparisons. And let's see. Oh my gosh. Suppose a guy named the Coon Dog tweets, "This ornament didn't hang itself." And it's a picture of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton in front of the tree. And it's a quadded picture. There's three different quadrants of it. The picture on the left is Bill Clinton and Hillary standing by the tree. Then it zooms in a little bit and you see their faces. And then it zooms in again in the last picture and there's an ornament with Jeffrey Epstein's face on it. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Hillary could take a piece of advice from a wise old hag who once said, "Don't look back, you're not going that way, but don't hold your breath." Oh man, oh man. Folks, listen to me when I tell you, Bill Clinton needs to be exposed for what he is. Nobody asked these people any questions. Hillary Clinton was on Howard Stern, and he didn't even ask her one single question about the Jeffrey Epstein situation. Now, I'm not sitting here saying the Clintons killed Jeffrey Epstein, folks. I'm not one of those people. I don't think the Clintons have that kind of power. But what I do think is that the Clintons are heavily involved in all sorts of graft. I think they're involved in all sorts of criminal behavior, and I think they have been for a very, very, very long time. It's obvious to anyone who's paying attention that Bill and Hillary Clinton used their foundation for personal financial gain. And it's very apparent that they were much closer to Jeffrey Epstein than people let on. Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea's wedding, them going to the Zorro Ranch, Epstein coming to the White House when Bill Clinton was president, Epstein having businesses down in Arkansas while Slick Willie was the governor. All sorts of connections, folks, all right? And if you're being honest with yourself, if there were all of these connections with Epstein and Trump and not the loose connections that we have, we would not hear the end of it, okay? We would not hear the end of it. And again, that's not to defend Trump, all right? It's more of a black mark on our media because what they're doing right now is it's not good for any of us. It's bad. They're not being journalists. They're not focusing on the actual stories. They're all focused on one person, not hyper-focused on Donald Trump. And with all of this scrutiny on him, all of these reporters dispatched to find dirt, they have found hardly anything at this point. The most damning stuff, in my opinion, will be the stuff they find from Deutsche Bank, the loans and stuff like that. Because anybody, listen to me clearly, folks, and I can tell you this with quite certainty, anybody who is involved in building or construction in New York City has worked with the mafia 100%, and they have ties with the mafia. Because you cannot walk onto a job site in New York without the Cosa Nostra being involved, okay? And that's a fact. So if they were really serious about going after Donald Trump, they would have went after his financials. They wouldn't have made up these salacious stories that nobody believes. If you believe that dossier, honestly, if you believed anything in that dossier, you're not very bright, okay? Because that dossier was a bunch of garbage, a bunch of straight junk, and there's a reason that its author disavowed it even. That dossier was created by Brennan and Comey and Clapper because they weren't happy with the election. Point blank, period. The end. And that has nothing to do with politics, folks. Those are the facts. If you're sitting around, that's how history is going to judge this. Okay? So we have to be very, very careful of this media. They are not doing their job. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that there should be a hyper focus on Donald Trump's financials, because if he's crooked there, well, that's something that the people need to know, right? But you don't need to make up this salacious BS to go after Donald Trump, because there's enough there for people to, if the Democrats would have went about this correctly, they could have really painted Trump as a complete and utter caveman. But what they did is they went after him with fake news, and it enraged his base, and it grew the independent base. That's what occurred. And again, I'm not a huge fan of the man that Donald Trump is, but compared to the Clintons, I'll take 4 years of Trump any day of the week. All right, folks, that is our morning update for today. I haven't decided about an evolution episode later on. Perhaps I'll do one, maybe not, who knows. There's a lot to get to, but I have some stuff going on this afternoon, aka football. So I don't know if I'll do an evolution episode this afternoon. Maybe I'll drop one tonight before the daily drop or after the daily drop. We will see how things go. I hope that everybody has had an amazing weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure tomorrow we'll have a bunch of breaking news on this case. With the holidays, journalists are people too, so they're taking some time, I guess, and they're not hitting the street running on this Epstein case. And we're kind of at a lull, right? So what we'll do is we'll just keep finding little stories like this when there's no news, no breaking news or news to update. We'll find little articles like this and we'll read them. And what I'm going to read this week too is I'm going to read the original complaint against Donald Trump by Katie Johnson, supposedly the girl that he assaulted with Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to get into that. I had one of the listeners ask me to get into that, so I'm going to get into that. I'm going to read a Vox article or one of the articles from one of the heavily left-leaning outlets, and we're going to explore that as well. And we're going to see if there's any there. I'll leave it up to you. I'll provide the story, and then I will leave it up to you, as always, to make up your minds, folks. And that's just how we always do it here. We had this little article about the Clintons here, so I'll be fair, and I'll read the story about Katie Johnson and Donald Trump. I'm sure you're all aware of those claims, and I'm sure you're all aware of how the case crumbled, but we'll jump into it, and the information will be provided, and then, of course, you folks make your own decisions. That's what smart people do. They will get all the information, every bit of information that they possibly can, and then they make a decision after they have all of the facts or all of the facts that are available at the time. So that's what we'll do. We'll dive into that, and I know that's going to make some people uncomfortable. Some of my Trump supporters that listen to the show, just stick with me, folks. Listen, we're fair here, right? We want to know who was involved, and if Donald Trump is involved, we're going to shine some light on that. We want him to be held as responsible as the rest of them if he was involved. So we're going to read that story about Katie Johnson and Donald Trump, and we'll see what's what. Well, I'll let you decide, like always. All right, folks, enjoy your Sunday. If you're watching football, last week of the season, boy, it's been a very interesting ride for the New York Jets if you're a Jets fan. They stink, but they don't stink. Then they want to win some games, then they don't want to win any games. So they're one of those teams that just makes me very frustrated. Anyway, I will be back later on with the Daily Drop for sure.